for giving me the floor, and I also want to join my colleagues to thank the CRC and the members, and also members of the National Assembly for coming up with this bill in 2017. Honorable Speaker, our country is at crossroads, and I think it's very important for us as citizens of this country. We work towards ensuring that good governance, democracy is instituted in this country. We came out from a dictatorship of 22 years. We have seen what had happened over the last 22 years. The development of the 1997 Constitution was done at a rush, and the people who were selected to do it are all citizens, but the consultative process was very limited. I participated in the consultative process in my constituency in Kombo South in 1996, and it was done in only one venue, that is Gunjur, with less than 30 participants for the whole of Kombo South. So that shows that that consultative process was not very consultative, and the Gambians were not consulted as to what should be in that constitution. And a lot has been said about the development processes that had taken place in the formulation of this constitution. And I think we had been very lucky to have a very good team. Those who are saying that though they do not have more qualified judges or legal-minded people in the drafting of this constitution. But in 1996, when the consultative process was going on, the chairperson of the consultative was a medical doctor by profession, very well educated, and he was able to handle this process. The 2017 CRC Commission is headed by a judge, Chusi, and also our CC Sabal. Who in this country can tell me that our CC Sabal doesn't know how to draft a constitution?
Rise, just for clarification, it was Justice Quay, a Ghanaian judge who was the president of the chairman of the Constitutional Review Commission.
He was elected by the Peters.
No, that was the consult.
Are you, Honorable, can you address, are you referring to the 1996 consultation?
For the Constitution, the Constitutional Review Commission. Yeah, that was, the chairman was Justice Quay, a Ghanaian.
The Ghanaian was part of it. Dr. Landry Peters was also part of it. So what I'm saying in essence, yeah, that's the consultation, yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying in essence, I think we had a very good team that had developed this draft constitution. And the process was very widely done in almost all the villages, in all the constituencies, in all the regions, and most of the institutions were consulted in the drafting of this constitution. I think the beauty about this draft constitution is it has a lot of novelty in some of the sections that were introduced. If you look in the draft constitution, this is the first time that a section is talking about the affairs of the youth in this country. And if we want to be serious in eradicating poverty and ensuring that unemployment is reduced, with 51%, more than 51% of our population, the youth need to be taken care of. And this constitution has given the mandate, this is going to give them the mandate to be able to sit with the government and draw up their plans, resource them fully to be able to run the YEPs and other development projects that are there for the youth. So this is a novelty that we need to work with, and I think it is timely that we look at the problem of the youth, the women, and the vulnerable members of our communities. Honorable Speaker, if you look at certain sections of this constitution, it also talks about leadership. Leadership is the core, and it helps good governance, accountability, and transparency. It helps the people to be more committed and focused, and to be able to work towards their terms of reference when they are appointed as people's representatives or working in the public sector. So all those who are saying that for people who are working in public service should not be engaged in other activities other than the work that they are doing, they want to ensure that productivity and the resources that are put in those department agencies and ministries are fully utilized and people are committed to the work that they are doing. You cannot be doing two things at the same time and there is productivity. It is not going to be possible. So these are issues that the Constitutional Review Committee has looked at. And the Gambia as a tax-based economy, we need to improve the economic status of the people by ensuring that there is productivity in all over what we are doing. And this is the first time that we have these commissions that are going to be put in the Constitution, the National Human Rights Commission, the Anti-Corruption Bill, the Teachers Service, the Health Education, and these are the core areas of development in this country. Social sectors need to be improved. And I think, Honorable Speaker, these are issues that we need to look at. Some of the key things that we also need to look at, if we go to the report of the CRC, as I said, we have been very lucky that they have given us 3 sets of documents. The first one is the explanatory memorandum on the draft constitution, and they also took the trouble of coming up with a comprehensive report of the work that they have done from day one to the submission of the report. And I think this process has been very transparent, and all the processes have been taken through the stages as enshrined in the Act, which was passed by the National Assembly. And it is the President who appointed the members of the Commission. All the 8 other members of the Commission were elected by the President. If the President commits and appoints these people endorsed by the National Assembly, who are we to say that the work that they have done is not in the interest of the Gambian people? The first instance what we need to do is to scrap the CRC.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Yes, point of order.
Refer to your relevant section.
Permissible interruption, section 32B. It says, to elucidate on a point of clarification. What I want to clarify is that we as legislatures, that's what I'm saying. It is out of order, that's what I'm saying. On point
Authority,
of 32, permissible interruption B, to elucidate on a point of clarification. I want to clarify something.
No.
If you are raising a point of order, it would mean that the honorable member has gone out of the remit of the rules.
Honorable Speaker,
so you call him to order.
That's what
but
I am
if
saying.
you want clarification on a certain point, that is a different thing, I think. I stand to be corrected, but I think the two are different. A point of order is quite distinct for somebody deviating from the rules. But correction or clarification is different from deviating from the procedures or
Can I come in? Can I come in? My query is, I rise on a point of order on section 32, that is the permissible interruption, on subsection 2B. Yes. And it says to elucidate on a point of clarification some matter raised by another member in the course of his or her speech, provided that the member speaking is willing to give way and resume his or her seat. So that's what I'm requesting from you. That's why I raise on a point of order.
Honorable, with all due respect, this talks about permissible interruptions.
Yes.
And what I understand by permissible interruptions is if somebody is on his or her feet and you want to interrupt, you seek the permission, if it is on a point of order, either to this chair, or if you want further clarification or whatever, the honorable member can then allow you. That is why it says is willing, provided that the member speaking is willing to give way and resume his or her seat.
That's what I'm saying, Honorable Speaker. But if I raise a point of order, the first person I should contact is the chair or the speaker.
I don't think that's a point of order. If you want,
it's okay.
If you want an observation, you ask him and he can give it to you, and then you seek. You proceed with your.
President, As I said, Honorable Speaker, the establishment of the Constitutional Review Committee was very clear in the Act, which says its composition. The commission shall consist of a chairperson who shall be the Chief Justice or a judge, the superior courts designated in writing by the Chief Justice. B, a vice chairperson who shall be a legal practitioner of not less than 10 years standing nominated by the minister. 9, C, 9 other members nominated by the president. And as I said, all these 9 members were nominated by the president and endorsed by the National Assembly, and then the bill was enacted here in December 2017. As I said, the commission had fulfilled all its mandates in the interpretation, all its mandate in the functions of the commission on page 4 of the Act. And this is why some of the things that they had done are there because it's their function. One of the key things that they need to do is to look at the Constitution, the 1997 Constitution, and adhere to and promote the following matters. That is the existence of the Gambia as a sovereign state. If you look into the Constitution, that's very well articulated and it's very well written. The Gambia's republican system of governance, including the democratic values and respect for the promotion of rule of law and fundamental rights of freedom. All those things are ensued in this draft constitution. If you go into the constitution also, it talks about the principle of good governance and parliamentary democracy. The National Assembly authority will be expanded, and then we will have a National Assembly commission that will be headed by a chairperson who will be, 2 people will be nominated and other members of the committee. This is going to give the National Assembly members to enable us to fulfill the 3 core mandates of National Assembly members: representation, legislation, and also oversight. And if we look at our current situation as the National Assembly, members are complaining of limited resources to enable us to be able to do our oversight functions as a National Assembly. But when we have this National Assembly authority expanded and we have a service, a commission, that will enable us to have all the resources that we need to enable us to do our democratic functions, and we as National Assembly members will also have the capacity to be able to be present in our constitutions, in our constituencies at all times. This will give us the opportunity to have offices and be able to work with our people, and the much talked constituency development fund will all be opportunity for National Assemblies members to reach to our members. And I think that has been very well catered for, and this is an opportunity for us as National Assembly members to look at this constitution and also make sure that it is passed into law. Honorable Speaker, going further, if you look at chapter 3, that talks about the national values and principles of government. Those are very important issues that we need to, as a government. Unless that is done, if people do not have the values and be able to ensure that social cohesion exists in the communities and our workplaces that we do, this will be very difficult for us to move as a country. And the Gambia being a tax-based economy is also another thing that we need to do. Leadership. As I said, leadership is very key, and this is a chapter that is also new in the Constitution, and it's very novel to have this thing, because it is going to enable citizens to conduct of public officers, financial probity of public officers, restrictions on the activities of public officers and obligations of persons dealing with public offices in the services of the state. This chapter also provides that it is an offense. All those things that they are saying, as I say, we do not have to be working as civil servants and working in the public service with our terms of reference, and also we want to engage on other activities and put aside the core function of our activities that we do. And I think these are issues that we need to do as a country. Honorable Speaker, moving forward, if you look at chapter 10, that is talking about the importance of local government development. If you look at all our 7 administrative regions, including the 2 municipalities, local governance is becoming a problem because the governors are there as the overall of the councils. The decentralization process embedded in the 2002 Local Government Act was also watered down because there is reluctance to devolution of power to the councils was not there. The excuse that has been going on over the last 18 years is that they do not have the capacity. If people do not have the capacity and you are ready to train them, how do you think that they are going to be trained? They are going to have the capacity. And those people are people who are standard, they have their qualifications, and they have the benchmark that they set for those people to be appointed. But because you are not willing to devolve power to those people and you want everything to be in the center, so that's why the councils are suffering. And all these things are issues that is going to help in this decentralization process, and that is going to help us as National Assembly members to work with our constituencies and know the local contents and work with the local authorities. That will help us to focus our intervention in programs and activities that the local councils are going to do. If you look at the 2002 Local Government Act, it has called for devolution of power to the councils. I worked with the current Attorney General when he was doing some consultancy and working with NCCE. Basse was the only area council that had written to the president that they want a devolution of power to be given the authority to control and also develop programs and also take care of these institutions. That letter was written to the office of the president, and it has been lined that he was the one who was doing that and facilitating that program. Because of the reluctance from the ministry, it was not able to, it has not gone, and that one got there. So all these issues are issues that we need to look at. When laws are put in, enforcement and implementation of the programs and activities is a problem. And the implementation schedule of this constitution is very clear, which is going to take care and ensure that how we develop or how we implement this constitution will be done in a way that is going to help to ensure that people are acting according to the conduct and also what is all embedded. Honorable Speaker, if you go to section 13, public finance, chapter 13, public finance, that also talks about transparency. Public finance, how do we ensure that all revenues that are collected are put in a common basket? But I want the Honorable Minister to help us. How are they going to ensure that those public finances, or that is going to be done? Are they going to also set up a commission that will be responsible of the distribution and also the coordination of those funds? Because if we want to give the responsibility to the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Finance have so much on their plate, and at current time, so they are also implementing some programs. How can they be a player and a referee at the same time? So I think these are issues that we also need to look at. And it is also going to help in the distribution of the national cake so that the most vulnerable and disadvantaged communities are also given the opportunity. If we go to chapter 14, Honorable Speaker, the National Security Service, a mention was made that here the CDS had written, they said they had written to the CRC and they had not incorporated all the wishes that they want to do. This CDC is empowered by the Constitution to write regulations and submit it to the Security Council and the security services for approval. But if we want all those regulations to be part of the Constitution, people are saying that this is too bulky. How are we going to end up with this? Are we going to be like India, which is the longest constitution in this world, with over 146,000 words? Do you want us to do that? The culture of reading in this country is very low. So these are issues that people need to understand. What are the elements that we should put in our constitution, and what are the rules or regulations that we need to do as an institution? Those are issues that we need to take up, and I think the Attorney General will help us detail on that more on that one. And as I said, the youth issue is very key, and I think that is also very close to my heart. Honorable Minister, Honorable Speaker, and I think this constitution, we as Gambians, we need to be committed to what we say and what we do in this National Assembly. We are legislators and we are legislating a document. As highlighted by many speakers before me, from 1965 to now, The national constitution has never gone through this process. And all this work that had been done over the last 18 months or so, and all the processes were very transparent, were very open. The CRC even had to extend the final submission on the first draft of the constitution by 1 month, because they want to entertain more comments that institutions, agencies, departments, individuals and other organizations that are in country to bring in their submissions to ensure that they are incorporated. But because if you hold on to those things and you think you're going to sit for them to come and then tell you what to do, it is going to be very difficult. And Honorable Speaker, I think this constitution is time for us as Gambians, if we want to go by the transitional process of this country. We are at a crossroad. We cannot afford to throw this constitution out.
Honorable Speaker, I have a point of clarification.
We cannot afford to throw this the draft. What's that?
Point of order or observation?
I want clarification. Yes, observation, because a point has been mentioned.
No,
I think.
Before you go over go ahead with your observation.
Let me just go, please.
Permit you to
let me go ahead,
make
please.
your observation.
Let me go ahead, Honorable Speaker. Time is not on our side.
You are
He can allow you, and then he will resume his seat and you go ahead. But if he doesn't, our rules are clear. Thank you.
And also talking about the security services, the Gambia Police Force is now going to be called the Gambia Police Services, with all the other services under the police, security service, the immigration service, the fire rescue service, and all those things. These are also novelties, and there is an opening. Because what we need to do is institutions, this constitution is giving the institutions to be able to grow. But if institutions are there, they are not growing. There is a lot of dissatisfaction in our institutions. There is no motivation in our institutions. So that's why all our public enterprises and most of the government department agencies are dying, because there is no motivation in the institutions. So these are issues that is going to do. The constitution is there to empower, and we as legislators will be able to see that these organizations, these institutions that are under our purview and the SOEs are also there to ensure that all the systems that are in place are looked after. Honorable Speaker, I think as National Assembly members, and I want to say this very clearly, if National Assembly members can stand in this National Assembly to say that the government is going to go against this constitution, that is going to be catastrophic for the country. That is going to be catastrophic for this country. How can the government take responsibility and set up an institution that have conducted their work, submitted their report, the first and second, and it was gazetted, the intervals, the provisionals are done, the bill is laid, and members are saying that government is going to vote against this constitution? That's too much. That's too much.
Honorable Speaker.
That's too much. Honorable Speaker, and I think this constitution
Point of clarification.
For the betterment of the people that are listening.
As I said earlier on, we have to follow decorum. Please, I saw two tags earlier on up there. Larikunda Sabiji, what is your point? No, before it was Sabiji first.
I want to raise a point of observation if the honorable member will allow me.
I'm not taking any observation, please.
I want to raise on a point of observation.
I am allowing the honorable member for Larikunda Sabiji.
Yes.
This request for the permission of, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
For the honorable member to give me permission to observe. Okay, thank you very much.
I'm not giving you any permission, please.
I will go to Busumbala.
When we go to the
honorable member, there were three. Tumana, honorable member for Tumana, you have to accept the rules. So you cannot force yourself. So please, we will come to you. Let's go step by step. Busumbala.
Madam Speaker, can I have the opportunity to tell honorable member that nobody... Point of observation, yes. I think I'm giving opportunity.
A request
For the best interest of the listeners, let's just clarify issues. It's no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Now,
nobody is speaking on behalf of the government here.
Madam Speaker, point of clarification. So don't say government is against. Point of clarification.
No, please, we are going one by one. Tuman now. Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is point of order. Rule, yes, that's 17. While a member is speaking, all the other members shall be silent and shall not make unnecessary interruptions, Honorable Speaker. And that's what we are doing.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm rising on point of order on section 29, content of speech. Point of order, Honorable Speaker. Content of speech. Section 20, clause 29. 1. Content of speech. Every member shall restrict his or her observations to the subject under discussion. We are talking about the merits and principles of the Constitution. I'm not talking about the government per se.
I wish to remind you there has been occasions when other honorable members had made references to other instruments and they were allowed. So please, in all fairness, let us just, there was another one.
Thank you very much, Madam. I need a point of clarification from the honorable member. We want to know for record purpose, who is the member who...
I am sorry, Honorable.
Do you, Honorable?
We want to know the member who is saying that government is going to...
Please, let's follow the rules. Honorable Majority Leader, can I just address that? Honorable Member for Talinding, are you making an observation? Are you?
Clarification.
Under the, what's the authority?
Okay, Honorable Speaker.
No, there are two issues here. You either make a point of order, as I always say, you refer to the relevant clause, or if you want to make an observation, then the honorable member who is on the floor.
I am seeking for a point of clarification, Madam Speaker.
What is your authority?
Please respect the chair. I'm addressing the chair. Stop this type of issues.
Please, can you stop the interruption?
Nonsense.
Please don't let us.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
Please. No, just a second. Honorable member for Talinding. I am addressing the honorable member for Talinding. Please, can you withdraw the word nonsense?
Madam Speaker, I withdraw.
Thank you very much. Most appreciated. Thank you. But please, I am appealing, and I had earlier on appealed. Let us allow each and every honorable member to make his or her interventions. They have a right. Let's stop beside bickerings. I mean, everybody can say anything, provided it is in accordance with the rules. You know, we don't have to quarrel over it. Lower Salum, I am not taking any further intervention.
Point of order.
Please, honorable member for
Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, point of order.
Honorable Speaker.
Point of order. Point of order.
What is your authority, honorable?
29.5. 29.5. No member shall impute improper motive to any other member. And what the majority leader says, government is trying to bury this constitution. And he's the head of the government business in this house. And he did not hear from the executive, judicial...
he didn't say that.
I don't think we...
he didn't say that.
I will overrule it.
I'm not allowing him, please. The records are there. If you go to the Hansard, the statement is there. It's recorded. It's well recorded in the Hansard report. It is there.
Majority Leader, please, can you address the chair?
Honorable Chair, let me continue,
please. Let us proceed.
I want to make this thing clear. This constitution is here to empower our institutions. As highlighted by the Deputy Speaker, the work of the National Civic Education Council is being broadened and is expanded. A lot of resources is going to be put in that institution to ensure that they fulfill their core mandate as an educative organ of the government, to ensure that all information that is necessary on this constitution is discussed at all the bantabas and all the institutions and in all the local languages that the CRC is trying to do. Because this is a constitution that they want people not to be blindfolded and then they don't have any knowledge as what they are going to say. And this promulgation process is an opportunity for us as Gambians. And as a young democracy, we need to cherish this constitution and make sure that it is passed as a nation. Unless we do that, history is going to be there. And I don't want to be part of a National Assembly where the people, young generations of this country will say, once upon a time, the National Assembly members of the 5th legislature. That's it very important as National Assembly members. We want to make sure that whatever we are doing, nobody loves this country than all of us. We are all citizens of this country. We have been in this country 65 years. Spent all my life in this country, and we have worked in the breadth and length of this country, working for people to ensuring that the vulnerable members of our communities and those people who need help are supported. So why do we have at this stage to come and go against those people, to make them more vulnerable, to make them more poor? The poverty rate in this country is going very high. And this constitution is trying to address that. So I want to urge all National Assembly members, let us look at what the document is saying and what it is trying to do to take us to a place to ensure that this transition process is completed in a way that is enshrined in the memorandum that was set when we were doing the campaign in 2016. We as Gambians, we need to be able to make the fly high. We need to look at the relics of our constitution. Our diversity in this country is very important. The national anthem of this country is there to teach us the morals and obligations and activities that we need to do as a citizen. So we as Gambians, we need to cherish that lyrics in that constitution, in that national anthem. And we also look at the coat of arms of this country: peace, progress, and prosperity. If we want to prosper as a country, and we want to have peace, we need to give liberty to the people, uplift the status of our vulnerable members, and ensure that everybody takes part in the decision-making of this country, Honorable Speaker. So this is about time for us as Gambians. And we are going to take the bull by the horn. We are going to call on anybody who is trying to delay this democracy in this country. The Gambian people have suffered for over 30 years, and this is an opportunity for us as Gambians to work to ensure that we liberate ourselves from poverty and also degradation, and ensure that all what is enshrined in this constitution is passed. Honorable Speaker, finally, I cannot sit down without giving my fervent support and to congratulate the members of the CRC. As I said, coming from the civil society, I have worked with most of these people, and I know the caliber of people who they are. All of these people is only Justice Jallo, who I have not worked with. But from the Secretary General, right down to our CISE, right down to Yankuba, Lamin Kamara, and all those people who are on this, they have worked tirelessly in this country to ensure that the poverty rate of this country is reduced. So this is where we are coming from as a nation. And on that note, Honorable Speaker, that's my submission.
Thank you.